Military action in Syria in a primetime address tonight. How will the president's strategy change after Russia's proposal to put Syria's chemical weapons under international control? Mark Thiessen is a former speechwriter for George W. Bush during the Iraq War. Ed Rendell, the former Democratic governor of Pennsylvania and a CNBC contributor. Gentlemen, good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Mark, give us a window into how this is working in the Oval Office today. I mean, to what extent is there a rewrite, and how difficult is that?
Oh, I'm sure they're scrambling right now, probably even as we speak with edits, and because the situation on the ground and then diplomatically is changing as we speak. It's a very different speech than it was 24 hours ago. I mean, 24 hours ago, the president was coming before the country and pleading with Congress not to reject his request for authorization for the use of force. Now, if he does the right thing, the speech is not going to be directed so much at Congress as it is at the Assad regime, and it's going to be an ultimatum speech. The president needs to stand look into that camera and say to the Assad regime, here are the things you need to do, A, B, and C. These are the world's demands. These demands are not negotiable. Here is a deadline for you to meet them, and if you do not meet them, then there will be military action. So that would take it from a speech of weakness to a speech of strength. The problem is that he's handed over a veto to Congress over whether there can be military action or not. So if the Congress doesn't go along with that and undercuts him, then he won't be able to deliver on those demands, and he'll be weak again.
Governor, this has been a difficult process to watch, politically, tactically. I wonder what you think the best path is starting tonight.
I think exactly what Mark just laid out. I think he gives this speech, that very speech, and says, look, this is the last chance for Assad and really the last chance for Syria. You've got to do this. You've got to comply. You've got to comply quickly. No stalling, no delaying action. There has to be thorough inspection to make sure that you've turned over all your chemical weapons. And once you've done that, you have to realize if you violate, there will be swift and effective reprisal immediately by not just the United States, but by the entire international community. Look, the president got lucky, in my judgment, politically. I think it was going to be a very difficult task to persuade enough Democrats and Republicans in the House to vote to approve military action. I've heard over the weekend a lot of Republicans even say, well, why didn't we bring this to the UN? Why isn't the UN taking action? Why doesn't the world community get involved? Well, now he's got the perfect out, the president. We're going to do this, but we're going to do this, as Mark said, for strength in the UN, a united world saying, okay, turn over all your chemical weapons, turn them over fast, make sure it's verifiable, and if you violate, we're going to come down on you, the entire international community, with force. I think that makes it an easy resolution to vote for. And I think Senator Schumer and Senator McCain are working on something towards that end right now.
Right.
There's
Mark,
one problem. Yeah.
I was just going to say, we talk about the speech being rewritten. It does seem that the box they've been put in has come largely because of ad-lib comments, right? A comment about a red line, a comment about unbelievably small, which you've said was unbelievably stupid.
Yes, it was. I mean, the problem with I think Ed and I have given the president the right advice. The big problem he has is that Obama needs this way out more than Assad does. I mean, the reason an ultimatum will work is because you're trying to give the person an out in order to have a peaceful solution. But Obama needs the out more than he does. I mean, Assad faces what Secretary Kerry called an unbelievably small attack. But the president faces an unbelievably large defeat in Congress. And the fact is the president going out and saying, well, this is because we've said we're at this point because of the show of strength. What show of strength? I mean, the president took this to the world, and the world said no. The British Parliament said no, and the U.S. Congress is about to say no. He is in the weakest position of an American president has ever been in a face-off with a dictator in modern times. So the president is in a weak position, and it's Assad who's in a position of strength and is giving, if anything, Assad is giving Obama a way out, not the other way around.
Well, Governor, one final point on Secretary Kerry. Some have said he's the one who's been truly emasculated here, let the bus run over him in the early going as policy sort of pivots the opposite direction to where he was headed. Do you think he sticks around?
Oh, absolutely. I think in some ways he can take, whether it was accidental or intentional, he can take credit for this solution, a solution that I think is going to be resoundingly praised around the world. And from a political standpoint, what Mark said is right, but then you make the argument to the American people, hey, give the president some credit. If he hadn't said we're going to take strict military action in reprisal here, why would Assad have done this? Would he have done it voluntarily if there was no threat of force looming, regardless of how difficult it seemed to get that threat of force effectuated? Why did he do this? Why is he giving up what is an effective military weapon that
he's not giving up anything
before?
He's not giving up anything, Ed.
Well, he is. He's giving up his chemical
weapons.
Not.
He hasn't agreed to do that. They're stringing us along because they don't want us to do anything in military strike. But when the United States says
if he doesn't
strike is going to be unbelievably small, how does that cower? How does that cower him? What are the costs going to be?
No, I agree that the Secretary misspoke there. But look, if he doesn't do this in a short period of time, then I think the Congress will agree to take action, because this is what Congress wanted. The international community coming together with a proposal that reasonable people could say avoided bombing. If he turns his nose up at us, I guarantee you the president wins that vote, and he wins it big.
Governor,
I don't think you're right.
Thank you so much. We'll see what he says tonight. I appreciate that very much.